Welcome back to Diecast Resurrection. Today we are working on another crew cab project. Here we have a Ford M2 1970 F100 custom 4x4. Nice truck. It's got a little bit less of a trim model than our other crew cab we did. So you can see this one's two-tone. It's got chrome trim, mirrors. You can see it's got the factory box sag, which everybody gave me crap about on this one, which is hilarious. I had to straighten this one out because people just would not stop bugging me about it. But as you can see, that's just how they come. They're, authentic. This side's good. It's got a little toolbox there, which is very cool. But yeah, it's got that kind of sag to it. So free this from its little display. I love how this thing's got white mags because that's a factory thing. When you buy like these old 4x4 trucks, white steel rims. So I've got this. So there's another M2 F100 I was doing something with, but my project didn't quite work out. So we're going to use this as our donor cab, and we're going to make another 4-door truck, which I think is going to be awesome. Easy, easy, easy. There. So we've got a pristine box. It's got a nice little engine bay. We even got a battery. Since I got this cab stripped already, all this stuff out of the front, I think I'm going to just leave all this together in the front clip of this cab, and we'll cut this one. And that way we save all this in one chunk. And I'm not trying to scramble for a little motor when I need it in the future. So this will be the main cab on our truck. And this will be the rear portion of the cab on our truck, and then we'll use this box, and we got ourselves a crew cab or 4-door, a duo cab, or whatever you want to call it. So I'm going to end up gluing these in place, and the back of this cab is pretty well going to come all the way up to here. Alright, so I'm going to strip all this stuff and then we'll move on. I'm going to use my old stripper just because I don't have time to mess around. I'm going to wear my mask though, so I'm not going to be talking. Alright, so I trimmed up the back of our cab a little bit more. And I got it pretty close to where I want it. Really makes the project next level by having those loose doors on the back. It's a lot more than I actually bargained for. I didn't think this project through as good as I should have, but I still think we're going to be okay. So what I'm thinking with these doors, it's not going to be much fun, but I think I'm going to have to cut the posts on these doors right here and then make them run straight up and down, and then I'll curve the corner like this. So you can see how much of that door we're going to have to trim off, so it's going to get pretty complicated here. Obviously you can see this door sticking out quite a bit, so I'm going to have to trim that off before we stick it back on. But it's nice that we have a nice actual pillar there, because that's going to look a lot nicer when we have it painted, rather than trying to create something out of JB Quick Weld like we did on the last one. So it's nice that we got an actual metal frame door in there. I got the door glued in completely right now, so I should be able to just make a line, trim off whatever's extra on that door, and stick those together. That was a good start. This was pretty tricky to do, but, you know, do what you gotta do. That's what it looked like before, so I'm gonna do the exact same thing on this one. So then I just take this little piece and I fit it right back on, just like this. Very nice. Okay, next step, got to cut the rest of these doors off and get it on the back of our truck. Okay, I've cut the back of our cab off, and now we begin the process of truing up these two pieces on emery cloth or sandpaper until we have a nice perfect fit. A little bit more right here to bow it out a little bit. I'm doing it this way instead of using a file because it keeps everything kind of square. Okay, I think we're there. That's as far as I'm going to go with it. So we're going to mix up some regular JB. A little container here. Alright, I've got my little tack weld in place. Just one little teeny drop of super glue holding it. So now I'm free to JB away. You got to put quite a bit on the roof because it does do a taper. Putting on a little bit too much is no big deal. We're going to be able to just dig through that JB quick weld and then find our die cast again and just clean it all up. So I'm just trying to be pretty liberal with it. Okay, that should be enough. It's more than enough, but I can clean that up no problem. So we've got that aligned pretty good. This door sags a little bit so it doesn't look perfect unless this door is up. I'm using a file, but I'm just kind of scraping along here. So I gave this a quick sand just to smooth this out with a little bit of 400. So we're getting pretty close now. Really liking the transition here. It looks really good. Getting to the point where I think we can put some putty, cover the whole roof in putty. And I'll do the sides here. And we'll really try to blend everything together, get it looking good bodywork wise. Anyway, try to get this all cleaned up with some Scotch-Brite before I putty. That way I'm not trying to work around the putty to just clean these doors up and stuff later on. And I got to zip off this front fuel filler. See you later, filler neck. This stuff will take the color off your hobby mat, so you got to be real careful with this. You spill that anywhere, it's going to leave a mark. My fave. Most of this will be coming off. We're just trying to be liberal at this point. So we get a nice finished look when we're done here. We're going to let that dry. And I'll come back and we will sand that. Going to try to score out our door frame lines again so we don't lose those details. But this top should blend real nice, and I don't think we're going to have any more real issues going forward here. So I've extended the base. This is what it looks like, just roughly figured out. So far so good. Connected all the frame rails and even doubled up our exhaust system here, which is perfect because I can use all the factory screw holes and everything. Even the one that connects the cab to the back of this frame. I think next time we do one of these kind of builds, we're going to do a dually. And I imagine we'll just progressively get more and more redneck as time goes on. And I should be using a sanding board for this kind of auto body, so what I'm going to do is just use one of my files here. And we're just going to roll it up. And I got a nice flat sanding board that's got some spine to it. Alright, I think I'm getting to the point here where we can see how this is going to look in primer. I would like to throw the doors back on. Yeah, man, that's a nice crew cab you got there, Jimmy. I love doing these trucks. We got to find some Chevys, though. Starting to look like something now. Got the little toolbox on the back. This is metallic light brown, and I'm not sure what it's going to look like. You can see it hasn't been mixed for 20 years. Big old crew cab, but it'll still be kind of flaky, so I think that's going to be our color. I ran into some of the same problems as I did on the previous build, and that was the transition between the rear of this cab and the start of this cab. So this little section right here. If you remember on our last build, same thing. So this one, I don't know, it's not bad, but I think if I were to do it again, when I go to marry the two cabs together, I'm going to use my epoxy putty. Because the problem is when I try to find this little door jamb line, the JB Quick Weld just doesn't carve nice, where the putty carves very nice, as you guys know when I customized that engine into the hood of that big banger we did the other day. So I'm not super pleased with the way that area turned out, but it's another learning experience for me. So I think with these things, it's going to be third time's the charm. I don't know, it's been good practice anyways. Pop the hood here, check this out. Got a real poor amount of light under there, but got everything in the engine bay all back together. Looking sharp. Batteries back in there. One thing I do love about this is look how much taller it is. Which is totally cool because it just screams 4x4 and this just screams two-wheel drive. Still be a pretty cool little truck to have on the desk here next to the other ones. So I'm feeling that. Anyways, that's going to do it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed this one. I'm not sure what the next project's going to be, but yeah, stay tuned. Consider subscribing if you want to. And I want to thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Hey, Jimmy.